Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. I am so happy you're here today because this is going to be something different, something fun, and something very real. Life can be busy, stressful, and sometimes even confusing. But today we're going to sit down, relax, and have an honest conversation with you. Think of this as your safe space, your little corner of peace and laughter on the internet. And before we begin, I want to kindly remind you our channel is growing, but about 99% of you who watch still haven't subscribed. Come on now, don't be shy. Hit that button, join the family, and let's grow together. Because honestly, what's better than learning, laughing, and motivating each other? Nothing. So sit back, relax, grab some tea, and let's begin.
That's right. Emma already said it perfectly. But let me add this. We're not here to lecture you. We're not here to be too serious, we're here to connect with you. Sometimes life throws unexpected punches, and you feel like you're losing. But you know what? And if we can make you laugh today, or maybe make you think differently about your life, then we've done our job. So don't forget to subscribe, because trust me, you won't want to miss what's coming in the next episodes. Alright, let's dive in.
Life has a funny way of surprising us, doesn't it? One moment you think everything is under control, and the next you're like, wait, who pressed the chaos button? I remember once I planned an entire week so perfectly, my schedule was neat. My goals were clear, and then boom, everything changed in just one day. At first, I wanted to cry, but later I realized those surprises are what make life interesting. Imagine living a life where everything goes exactly as planned. It would be so boring. Sometimes the best stories, the ones we laugh at years later, come from those messy, unexpected moments.
Exactly, Emma. My grandmother used to say, life is like soup, sometimes it's salty, sometimes it's sweet, but you've got to taste it all. And I laughed so hard the first time she said it. But she was right. Those surprises you're talking about, they shape us. They teach us things no school or book ever could. I remember missing a train once, and I thought, oh no, this is the worst day ever. But because of that, I met someone who later became a very close friend. So when life surprises you, don't panic. Maybe it's just giving you a new story to tell.
Staying positive when life is hard is not easy. Let's be honest, it's much easier to complain, to cry, or to give up. But positivity is not about pretending everything is perfect. It's about finding that little light even in the darkest room. Sometimes I literally laugh at my problems. Like, seriously. I'll look at my messy situation and say, wow, life, you're really trying me today, huh? And in that laughter, I find strength. I remind myself that no pain lasts forever.
But actually, positivity is about facing reality with courage. I remember when I lost a job years ago, I was devastated. But instead of letting it destroy me, I said, okay, maybe this is a redirection, not a rejection. And guess what? A few months later, I found an even better opportunity. Sometimes what looks like the worst moment can be the beginning of the best chapter.
People always talk about big goals, buying a house, becoming rich, learning English perfectly, traveling the world. And while those things are amazing, sometimes we forget that every big achievement starts with tiny, simple steps. Think about it. Babies don't just stand up and run marathons. They crawl, they wobble, they fall, and then eventually they walk. I used to put so much pressure on myself to reach the big picture quickly, but over time I learned that progress is progress, no matter how small. Even if you just learn one new English word today, or wake up 10 minutes earlier tomorrow, that's a victory. And victories build upon each other until one day, you look back and realize how far you've come.
You're so right, Emma. I think people underestimate the beauty of small beginnings. Everyone wants to jump straight to success, but the truth is, it's the small habits that shape your future. When I started exercising years ago, I couldn't even do 5 push-ups without feeling like I was dying. And slowly, I got stronger. That's how life works. If you want to learn English, read just one paragraph a day. If you want to save money, put aside just $1 each day. It sounds small, but it's those small steps that eventually carry you to the finish line.
Oh, failures, my old friends. I don't know why people are so afraid of failure. Because honestly, failure is one of the best teachers in life. Every time I've failed, I've learned something I couldn't have learned any other way. When I was younger, I once failed an important exam that I had studied so hard for. I cried, I felt embarrassed, I thought I wasn't smart enough. But later, I realized that exam didn't define me. What defined me was my choice to get up, try again, and find a better strategy. Sometimes failure is just life's way of saying, not this way, try another path.
I'm into that, Emma. I always say failure is just feedback. When I started my first job, I made so many mistakes, wrong emails, missed deadlines, even spilling coffee on my boss once. But you know what? Those failures made me sharper. They forced me to improve, to become more careful, and to grow. If you never fail, you never stretch yourself. Failure is not the opposite of success, it's part of success.
You know what keeps me sane through all the stress? Laughter. I truly believe laughter is medicine. Sometimes when I'm having the worst day, I'll watch a silly video or call a funny friend, and suddenly my problems don't feel as heavy. People think you have to be serious all the time to be successful, but I disagree. If you can laugh, you can survive almost anything. Even in my darkest moments, I've found strength in humor. Like, once I burned dinner so badly it looked like a piece of coal. Instead of crying, I just laughed and ordered pizza. Life is too short to stay mad over small things.
That's so true, Emma. I think laughter is what makes us human. And you know, some of the best memories we have aren't about big achievements. They're about the times we laughed so hard our stomachs hurt. I remember one time I was giving a presentation, and I mispronounced a word in such a funny way that everyone, including me, burst out laughing. At first, I was embarrassed. But later I realized that moment made the presentation unforgettable. Laughter connects us. It reminds us we're all human, all imperfect. And that's what makes life beautiful.
Oh, balance. The thing so many of us struggle with. I used to think working nonstop was the key to success, but I learned the hard way that rest is just as important as work. Without rest, your body and mind break down. I once worked for weeks without giving myself a proper break, and eventually I burned out. I couldn't think, I couldn't sleep, I couldn't even enjoy the things I loved. That experience taught me that resting is not laziness, it's fuel. Resting gives you the energy to keep going.
I couldn't agree more, Emma. I think society glorifies being busy too much. People wear busyness like a badge of honor, but in reality, it's not sustainable. You can't pour from an empty cup. When I started scheduling rest into my life, like actually writing relax on my calendar, my productivity improved. I worked smarter, not harder. And let me tell you, a good nap can sometimes solve problems better than hours of stress. Balance is everything.
Life isn't always sunshine and roses. And I've had days when everything seemed to collapse at once: health issues, financial struggles, even losing people I loved. But one thing I learned is that no storm lasts forever. Staying positive doesn't mean ignoring pain. It means choosing to believe that the pain won't last forever. When I went through my darkest moments, I forced myself to look for small blessings: a good cup of tea, a friend who called. Even the fact that I could still breathe and wake up the next morning, those little reminders kept me moving forward. Positivity is a choice, and sometimes it's the only weapon we have against the heaviness of life.
I completely feel you, Emma. I also faced some tough times, especially when I lost my job years ago. It felt like the world was ending, like I had no future. But in that moment, I realized I had two options: either drown in negativity or look for the lesson in the struggle. I chose to believe that life was redirecting me to something better. And guess what? That painful job loss led me to a new career that I love today. Staying positive doesn't erase your problems, but it gives you the strength to fight through them until you see the light again.
One of the greatest gifts in life is friendship. I honestly don't know how people survive without true friends. A good friend is like a mirror. They reflect your strengths when you forget them, and they aren't afraid to tell you when you're messing up. I remember when I almost gave up on learning a new skill. It was my best friend who pushed me, encouraged me, and reminded me of my potential. Friends are the family we choose, and the right ones can lift you higher than you could ever climb alone.
I couldn't agree more. Friends are like anchors in a storm and wings when the sky is clear. The people you surround yourself with influence your mindset, your choices, and even your success. I used to hang around negative people, and I noticed I was becoming more negative too. But when I changed my circle, my entire perspective shifted. Suddenly, I had people cheering for me, pushing me, and believing in me even when I doubted myself. If you want to fly high, surround yourself with people who lift you up, not those who pull you down.
Gratitude is magic, I swear. There were times when I thought I had nothing, but the moment I started counting my blessings, my whole life felt richer. I began writing down 3 things I was grateful for every morning. Sometimes it was something as small as the sound of birds outside my window. That habit changed my perspective. Suddenly, my focus shifted from what I lacked to what I already had. Gratitude doesn't give you more things, but it makes you realize how much you already own in your heart.
That's so true. Gratitude has the power to turn ordinary days into celebrations. No fancy technology, but they smiled more than anyone I'd ever met. That taught me a lesson I'll never forget. Happiness doesn't come from having everything. It comes from appreciating what you do have. The more you practice gratitude, the more joy you attract into your life.
People talk a lot about motivation, but let's be honest, motivation comes and goes. Some mornings I wake up ready to conquer the world, but other mornings I just want to hide under the blanket. That's where discipline comes in. Discipline is doing what you know you need to do, even when you don't feel like it. I wouldn't have achieved half of what I have done without discipline. It's not glamorous, but it's powerful.
Exactly, Emma. Motivation is like a spark, but discipline is the firewood that keeps the fire burning. For me, discipline meant creating routines, waking up at the same time, sticking to study schedules, saving money consistently. It wasn't always fun, but in the end, those habits built the foundation for my success. Discipline is the bridge between dreams and reality. And once you master it, nothing can stop you.
Everyone has dreams, but sadly, not everyone believes in them. I used to keep my dreams small because I was scared of failing or of people laughing at me. But then I realized, what's the point of living if you don't dream big? Dreams are like the fuel that drives us forward. They give us something to wake up for, something to fight for, something to believe in. Even if people don't understand your dream, it's still valid.
I love that, Emma. Dreams are like stars, you may never touch them, but they guide you through the night. When I was young, my dream was impossible according to everyone around me. People laughed, said I was crazy, said I'd never make it. But here's the thing, I didn't give up. I turned that dream into a vision, then into a plan, and step by step, it became reality. Never let anyone dim the light of your dream, because it's that light that will carry you through darkness.
Wow, John, this conversation has been amazing. We've laughed, shared stories, and hopefully inspired anyone listening to believe in themselves a little more. If there's one thing I want our viewers to remember, it's this. Life is hard, but so are you. You are stronger than your doubts, braver than your fears, and more capable than you realize. And don't forget to smile, to laugh, and to keep going no matter what.
Absolutely, Emma. And to everyone listening, thank you for spending this time with us. We truly hope our words gave you hope, motivation, and maybe even a smile today. And hey, before you go, remember to subscribe to our channel, because 99.4% of you are watching but not subscribed yet. Don't just listen, join our family. Because together we're building a community of positivity, laughter, and growth.